What is actually sales preparation? This is a term that circulates throughout the car care and detailing scene, especially when talking to professional detailers. And in this video, I would like to try to explain to you what sales preparation is or what is understood by it. We'll get started right away, and in the first step, I have to tell you that the term sales preparation means a lot of things and at the same time means nothing. There are certain terms that are often used and liked in the car care scene, and most people understand the same meaning behind them. However, the important thing is that they are not uniformly defined, and thus there can still be differences in how some people interpret these terms. Two very classic examples are the word wax. The word wax doesn't mean anything by itself. Many people refer to this when they use the word wax, specifically to these paste-like waxes that come in a can. However, there are also spray waxes, which means these are products that are sprayed onto the paint. There are also liquid waxes, which means they come in a bottle, spread out, and are applied like a skin cream, so to speak. And all of this refers only to the presentation method, meaning how a wax comes in, paste-like, liquid, or sprayable. Then we can also talk about the ingredients. And some people, when they say wax, mean those waxes that contain a certain percentage and a high percentage of natural ingredients. Carnauba wax, mountain wax, beeswax, certain fruit oils or nut oils, for example. Some people refer to it when they say wax. Strictly speaking, however, one can also say that waxes can be made from many different ingredients. There are even completely synthetic waxes. This means that there is not a single natural ingredient in them. And so you can already see that the word wax doesn't mean anything by itself. We can only try to guess what someone means when they say wax. The second example is the term detailer or quick detailer. That also means nothing at first. Many people understand it to mean a quick cleaner. This means that I generally have my car in a clean state. Right now, I am on vacation or I am at a car meet. And for example, I have a light layer of dust on my car or maybe some bird droppings or fingerprints, and I want to clean them with a quick detailer. Quick detailers are generally suitable for this purpose, and that is exactly the product category that is used. Only. Over time, and from this classic application case of a quick cleaner, has the quick detailer continued to evolve. Today, there are dry washes, with Americans distinguishing between waterless and rinseless washing. There are also drying aids. There are quick detailers that are really just pure cleaners. They are rare, but they still exist. There are quick detailers that contain a component designed to primarily create paint smoothness and a slight increase in shine. Then there are quick detailers, which contain a sealing component that also provides hydrophobia. This makes the transition to spray waxes and spray sealants difficult again. So you see, the term quick detailer means everything, and at the same time means nothing. The same applies to the term sales preparation. Basically, this is about the preparation of a vehicle that is to be sold afterwards. That is essentially all that this term means, strictly speaking. Now we can talk about it, and now I can tell you what is generally understood by professional detailers. Namely, the following. Either the customer who wants to sell the corresponding car privately, or more often, the dealership that wants to sell this car afterward. They want it to be prepared as well as possible for as little money and in as short a time as possible. This means that the term sales preparation actually describes the difficulty or compromise one has to make between being as quick and as inexpensive as possible, while still achieving the best quality. And now we need to talk about polishing, because most of the time or often, a sales preparation includes a polish. Polishing always means removing paint, which means we try to eliminate paint defects by smoothing the paint down to the lowest level of the scratch, and then it is essentially gone. Now, when it comes to polishing, two ways in which I can significantly and fundamentally improve the appearance of weathered and scratched paint. On one hand, I can indeed polish. For this, I use polishes like Menzerna 2500. This is a real polish. Here, paint removal takes place, and the image I achieve at the end, when I am done polishing and have degreased again, is the true image. It reflects the actual paint condition, with nothing covered, concealed, or beautified. However, in the context of sales preparation, the customer, whether a dealership or a private individual, is not willing to pay what is necessary to achieve a proper, genuine polish. Often, so-called one-step polishes, all-in-one polishes, or two-in-one, or three-in-one polishes are used. Here is the Menzerner 3-in-1. This means the following. This polish also removes paint defects, but significantly, drastically, and brutally much less than a true polish does. It really only removes very, very, very light paint defects. At the same time, it also fills in certain paint defects and leaves a very light form of wax sealing. Now, in the case of the polish here, there are also such 3-in-1 polishes that contain a type of polymer sealant. And this is now important for the following reason. When I polish the paint with this polish here and then wipe away the residues, I usually do not degrease anymore because certain fillers remain on the paint and a slight sealing component stays on the paint. This is the great advantage of these polishes. I simply polish, fill, and seal in one step. And that's all really well and very good if you are open, honest, and transparent with the customer that these fillers and sealing components will not last long. And when I say it won't last long, I mean the following case, which unfortunately often happens. You buy a car that looks very, very, very good on the dealer's lot. And then you drive through the car wash or go to wash the car, and suddenly there are scratches that weren't there before. And that is because you have removed the fillers and the sealant component of this polish here or of such a polish. And then we have the actual condition of the paint as it really is, because that is the difference. After a proper polish with pure polishes, we see the true condition of the paint. When we use something like this, we see the condition of the paint, not because it is covered, but because it is overlaid. Therefore, in the context of what is called sales preparation, there is often talk of shoddy work, because such polishes are frequently used here. And this is indeed how the term sales preparation is most commonly understood, and how it is most often meant. We have a customer who does not want to pay for a proper polish. They want something quick, something fast. We have the detailer who still tries to get the best possible result. And then often 3-in-1 or all-in-one polishes are used. The car looks good after preparation, goes up for sale, and from this, the term sales preparation originated or is being developed. I believe the reason why it has a somewhat negative undertone and why this term is somewhat disreputable among professional detailers is that somewhere in this chain between the customer who brings the car, which is usually the dealership, the detailer, and the person who ultimately buys the car. Somewhere here, open and honest communication is lacking. Let's assume that most detailers are absolutely honest and explain to their customers at the dealership, look, I can do a sales preparation for you. You only pay this 300 euros, but I will use a polish that does not remove all paint scratches, but rather fills them in slightly. Please tell this to the customer. And if the dealership or the seller is open and honest, then they will tell this to the customer. If he doesn't have much integrity, then he won't tell the customer that, and I believe this has contributed to the somewhat negative undertone surrounding the term sales preparation, which has unfortunately gained a bad reputation. Because, again, fundamentally, this is not an industry standard that has been defined by anyone, and above all, is not enforced by anyone. It may also be the case that sales preparation is something proper. This means that the preparer goes in, uses a proper polish, degreases the paint after polishing, and applies a proper sealant. This is something completely different from using something like this. And that's why at the end of this video it must be said again that the term sales preparation means nothing at all. Generally, often in most cases, it is understood to mean a quick, simple, and affordable preparation using polishes that contain both fillers and sealants. This leads to buying a car that looks good at first, but after a certain time, usually after the first wash, it no longer does. This is what is mostly understood by the term sales preparation. I hope you understand this term now when it circulates in groups, chats, or forums. If that's the case, and if the video was helpful, informative, exciting, and interesting for you, please give us a thumbs up, feel free to support the channel with a free subscription, and tune in for the next video. See you!